economics. Now, we come to the first chapter, that is introduction. When we speak about introduction, we first need to understand about the two terms statistics and economics. Now, firstly, we would like to discuss about economics. Coming to the origin of economics. Now, can anyone guess out what is or how did the origin of this subject take place? Now, when we speak about economics, this was not a subject which had an individual identity earlier. This is a subject which was studied in combination with political science earlier, and it was a part of political science, and together political science and economics were called as political economy. This is the original name of the subject economics. This is how economics was called earlier, before it was separated from political science. It was Alfred Marshall, the founder of Neoclassical School of Economics, who gave economics for the first time the individual recognition as a subject. But earlier it was studied in combination with political science and was called as political economy. And he was the person who gave this subject an individual recognition, and today we study this subject as economics. But coming to what do we understand, what is economics, what does it imply to us? Now, the term economics has been derived by two Greek words, and those two Greek words are one being oikos and another being nomos. Oikos implies household and nomos implies management. Hence, economics is nothing but, the term economics is nothing but household management. And when we speak about it as a subject, it is the art of household management. What it is? The art of household management. But what is household management? That is the major question that pricks our mind. Now, whenever we speak about household management, it's very simple. It's nothing but management of our resources. But why are we managing these resources? These resources are being managed to satisfy our wants. But whenever we think about wants, what is the nature of wants? They are unlimited. They are reoccurring in nature. So, these wants have to be satisfied with the resources. But what is the nature of resources? Resources are always limited in nature. Hence, when we think of satisfying human wants, there is always a constraint, that is limitedness of wants. Hence, when we try to manage limited resources to satisfy our unlimited wants, that is called as economics. Don't you believe that we all practice it in our life knowingly and unknowingly? Yes, we do practice it. This is a subject which we already have learned by some or the other ways or means. A student manages his time in order to get good marks, in order to devote full dedication towards studies, towards co-curricular activities and become an all-rounder. A person who is a bread earner for his family, he tries to manage his income in order to satisfy the wants of his wife, satisfy the wants of his children, satisfy himself, satisfy his parents. So these are the constraints, these are the wants he has. So we all, knowingly, unknowingly, all of us apply this subject in our day-to-day life. But we study in detail certain concepts, certain tools that are even more helpful in understanding how to allocate these resources in order to achieve the maximum satisfaction, the maximum benefit and the maximum utilization that can be possible. Hence, art of household management is nothing but management of limited resources in order to satisfy the unlimited wants. I again repeat, economics is the art of household management, that is managing the limited resources to satisfy unlimited wants. This is what economics is all about. Economics is also called as Queen of Social Sciences. It has been regarded as one of the topmost subjects among all the humanities, and it has been popularly and widely adopted by many disciplines further for analysis and further for studies. Hence, we call economics as the queen of social sciences. But now moving on further to the development of the subject. When we come to the development of the subject, this subject has been developed at various stages by various economists in various manners. Now, to understand the development of subject, we have majorly 4 definitions that we are going to look forward towards. First one being the wealth definition of economics. The second one being the welfare definition of economics. Third one being the scarcity definition of economics. And the last one being, that is the most recent one, that is the growth oriented definition. Through these 4 definitions, we understand how the subject of economics has gradually developed over a period of time. Now moving to the first one, that is the wealth definition. Now, when we speak about the wealth definition, this is one of the oldest definitions, and for the first time, this definition was given by Professor Adam Smith. Professor Adam Smith is also known as the father of economics. He has been regarded as the father of economics for giving the first definition of economics, first systematic definition, as well as propounding many tools and concepts in the subject of economics. And along with Professor Adam Smith, there are other economists who have also supported this definition. They are Professor J.B. Say, Professor J.S. Mill, Professor N.W. Senior, J.B. F.A. Walker, and these all, that is Adam Smith and all his supporters, together are called as the classical school of economists. I again repeat, Adam Smith and all his supporters are together called as the classical school of economists, and they were the ones who have given us the wealth definition. According to them, economics is the science of wealth. We find the definition of economics in a book written by Adam Smith for the first time, and this book was published in the year 1776, and the name of the book is An Inquiry into Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations. Popularly, this book is called as Wealth of Nations. As the name is too long, the book has been popularly called or popularly known as Wealth of Nations. And as per the definition given by Adam Smith, economics is the science of wealth. But much more precisely, he has emphasized saying that economics is a subject which studies about the nature and the causes of wealth of nations. How does this wealth of the nation arise? What are the reasons behind the arising of the wealth? What is the reason why everyone thinks of accumulating wealth? Hence, according to him, economics is a science of earning and spending. But over here, earning has been the major focus, and more than that is the accumulation. And when we speak about the highlights about this definition is relating to accumulation of wealth. It emphasizes that the subject teaches us how to accumulate wealth, and it also teaches us what is an economic man. Let me tell you clearly, economic man. Economic man is a person who is self-motivated, who has given too much emphasis on the self-interest, and he wants to satisfy his wants. Hence, that person who is accumulating wealth and is only having the focus of his ultimate goal of life is only accumulation of wealth is called as economic man. And according to the classical school of economists, economics is the science of wealth. And for the first time, we find the wealth definition in the book written by Adam Smith, that is an inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nations, which was published in the year 1776. And according to his definition, the two major elements of this definition is this subject teaches us how to accumulate wealth, and it also teaches us what an economic man does in his whole lifetime. Hence, this is all about wealth definition. Now, next we move on to the welfare definition. Welfare definition. This is our second definition, that is welfare definition. This definition was given by, for the first time it was given by Professor Alfred Marshall, and he is also the founder of Neoclassical School of Economists. Neoclassical School of Economists was the school of economists which came after the classical school, and the founder of this school was Professor Alfred Marshall. He was the one to criticize the Bell definition, emphasizing that the definition was very narrow and the scope of the definition was very limited. Hence, the subject scope was also narrowing down. Hence, according to him, economics is not the science of wealth, but it is a science of material welfare. And according to him, this definition emphasizes on one major thing, that is science of material welfare. According to him, the subject economics teaches us how to attain the materialistic welfare. And for the first time, we find this definition in his own book named as Principles of Economics, which was published in the year 1890. In this book, we come to know about economics, and to remind you again, Alfred Marshall is the person who has given individual identification to the subject of economics. He is the one who has changed the name of subject from political economy to economics. And apart from Alfred Marshall, the other supporters like Professor A.C. Pigou, Edwin Cannon, W. Beveridge are some of the other components or other participants of the neoclassical school who have also agreed on the same definition. And according to them, the definition emphasizes on certain major points. One is, according to them, economics is a study of mankind in the ordinary business of life for the attainment and the use of materialistic requisites of well-being. According to this definition, he emphasizes about studying about mankind. It's not just studying about one person, it is studying about mankind. Almost everyone in their ordinary business of life. Or what is this ordinary business of life? Ordinary business of life nothing but refers to our activities of day-to-day life, nothing but which emphasizes on consumption, on production, on distribution and exchange. That is the ordinary business of life, and we all are involved in this ordinary business of life to attain and to use the material requisites of well-being. And to remember, he has not emphasized on just welfare, he has emphasized on materialistic welfare. That is, the welfare what one derives by the use of goods and services. By utilizing certain goods, if a person is able to satisfy his human want, that can be termed as materialistic welfare. Then materialistic requisites of welfare or well-being are nothing but the things which give us satisfaction, which help in attaining our goals. Hence, according to this definition, economics is nothing but the science of materialistic welfare. And the major focus of this definition has been materialistic welfare and study about ordinary business of life. We all are into some work or the other. All is aiming at consuming, all is aiming at producing something and satisfying each one. Hence, these are some of the major elements of the welfare definition. Now, moving on to the second, this is over, third one, that is the scarcity definition. When we speak about scarcity definition, this definition has been given, has been designed and popularized by Professor L. Robbins, that is Professor Lionel Robbins. And we find this definition in his own book named as An Essay on Nature and Significance of Economic Science. This book was published in the year 1932. And this definition majorly emphasizes saying that economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which can be put into alternative uses. Hence, this subject, according to Professor Lionel, is nothing but study about the human behavior. We are studying over here human behavior as a relationship between the two major elements, that is the ends and the scarce means. But what is ends? Ends are nothing but your goals, aims, objectives, anything you can name it up. Hence, this ends refers to goals, aims and objectives which one thinks of satisfying. But while satisfying them, we require the means. But the nature of means is always scarce in nature. That is, they always are limited in nature. But one more thing to be noted over here, he has emphasized that all these resources can be put into alternative uses. That means to say, I can use a particular resource for different purposes. For example, water. Water can be used for the household purpose also, for domestic purpose also. If I think about the coal, coal can be used for generation of power also, and it also can be used as a medium of heating in the home for domestic purposes. It could be for cooking, it could be for saving yourself from the winters also. Hence, any resource that can be put into multiple uses is over here one of the major unique features which has been highlighted by Professor Lionel Robbins. Hence, according to him, economics is a science which studies about ends, means and those means which have alternative uses. Hence, according to this, nothing but science of choice making is nothing but economics. When we try to choose between ends, when we try to choose between means, and we try to think how shall we allocate these means into different uses, it nothing but emphasizes on the science of choice making. Therefore, according to the scarcity definition, this is nothing but choosing between the scarce resources and choosing between the ends which have to be satisfied first and which can be postponed later on. Hence, it is nothing but the science of choice making. And this definition was given by Professor Lionel Robbins. And we find this definition in his book named as An Essay on the Nature and Significance of Economic Science, published in the year 1932. So these are the three major definitions. Now we move on to the growth definition. Now, moving on to the fourth definition, that is the growth-oriented definition. Now, when we speak about the growth-oriented definition, this is the most recent definition which has been given by most of the modern economists. They cannot be categorized under any school, neither the classical, neither the neoclassical. These economists are the modern economists. Some of them who have given are Professor Samuelson, Professor Bergeson, Professor K.G. Safe, Professor Balding. These are some of the eminent economists who have given this definition, and the major focus according to them is economics is a science which not only teaches us to earn, but it also teaches us how to prosper. The element of growth, the element of progress was completely missing in the above three definitions, and the same was highlighted in this definition. According to these new economists, or according to these modern economists, economics is a subject which teaches us how to grow and develop with the constraints what one country has, what one individual has. If an individual is thinking about earning, about working hard, ultimately his objective is not just earning, his objective is beyond earning, that is how to earn plus how to prosper. I am earning today because I want to prosper, not just because I have to eat my food, not just because I have to just satisfy my basic necessities. Apart from satisfying the basic necessities, there are some higher ends, there are some higher needs which we all would like to satisfy. If a nation is there, a nation also thinks about accumulating, generating the resources in order to prosper in the long run, not just immediate effects, not just the immediate results we are looking forward for. So this, according to them, is a subject which teaches us how to grow, how to prosper, how to develop. Hence, the focus over here has been the macro level concept, which was completely ignored in case of even the scarcity definition, even the welfare and the well definition. Hence, over here, according to them, this subject is nothing but the science of growth and development. Hence, to remind you again, we studied about the four definitions, one being the well definition, which was given by the classical economist, and the head or the founder of the classical school of economists has been Adam Smith, who has published his book as An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations, which was published in the year 1776, and this book is popularly called as Wealth of Nations. This is the book where for the first time we find the systematic definition of economics, wherein he says economics is a science which studies about the nature and the causes of wealth of nations. Hence, apart from Adam Smith, There are other classical school of economists like J.B. Say, F.A. Walker, J.S. Mill, N.W. Senior, who have also contributed to the development of the classical definition or the well definition. Then, this definition was later on criticized as the bread and butter science, the dismal science, and later on we see the uprising of welfare definition, and this definition was given by the neoclassical school of economists. The founder of the neoclassical school of economists is Professor Alfred Marshall, and we find the welfare definition in his book named as Principles of Economics, which was published in the year 1890. And along with Alfred Marshall, there are other proponents like Professor A.C. Pugu, Edwin Cannon, Professor Beveridge, who have also contributed to the development of this subject. And according to them, economics is not just the science of wealth, but it also teaches us how to attain, how to get the material requisites of wealth. Hence, according to them, it is a science which is nothing but teaching us the mankind in its ordinary business of life, which aims at attaining and using the material requisites of wealth. Hence, this is all about welfare definition. When we come to the third one being scarcity definition. The scarcity definition was given by Professor L. Robbins, and we find this definition in his own book named as An Essay on Nature and Causes of Economic Science, Nature and Significance of Economic Science, which was published in the year 1932. According to him, the three things were the major focus, one being the ends, one being the scarce means, and the last one being the means can be put into alternative uses. Coming to the last definition, that is the growth definition, and it was given by the modern economists like Samuelson, Bergerson, K.G. Seth, and Professor Balding. And according to them, economics is not just science which teaches us how to earn wealth, which teaches us how to spend it and emphasizes on the problem of choice making, but it also emphasizes on how to prosper, how to achieve the progress, how to grow, how to develop. And it is the definition which emphasizes on the macro level concepts. So these are the four definitions which say us about the development in the subject of economics over a period of time. From 18th century till today, this subject has been diversified, has been developed to a great extent. Now, we move on to the next topic, that being economic activities. Now, we have understood that we need to study economics in order to understand how to earn, how to spend, how to save, how to grow. But all this is possible only with economic activities. But what are economic activities? All the activities which help in generation of income and wealth is known as economic activities. We can broadly classify these economic activities into four categories, and these four categories are consumption, production, exchange, distribution. I again repeat, all the activities which lead to generation of income and wealth are called as economic activities, and they are broadly classified as consumption, production, exchange, and distribution. Now moving on further to looking at what does all these terms imply to all of us. Now we move on to the meaning of each term, that is consumption. What do we understand by the term consumption? Now, whenever we think about consumption, consumption is very simply defined as the process of consuming. But what does the process of consuming imply to us? The process of utilizing or using the goods and services for the satisfaction of human wants. Hence, consumption is nothing but the process of destroying utility. The want satisfying power of the commodity when it is destroyed by its usage is called as consumption. In simpler terms, it's nothing but usage of goods and services which ultimately satisfy our want is called as consumption. The next one being production. When we speak about production, production is a process of converting raw materials into finished goods or converting semi-finished goods into finished goods. Hence, over here, nothing but production is conversion of raw materials into finished goods. But what is the objective over here? To satisfy human wants and to earn the profit by satisfying their wants. Hence, over here, production is nothing but the process of converting raw materials into finished goods, and this is done in order to satisfy the human wants and also to earn a good profit. Distribution. What is distribution then? Distribution is nothing but distribution of income, or in other words, or in a much refined manner, factor rewards. Distribution of factor rewards among the various factors of production. Is called as distribution. But what are factors of production? Factors of production are nothing but all the resources utilized during the production. These resources are broadly classified into 4 categories, and these 4 are land, labor, capital, and organization. When we speak about labor, labor receives the rewards in the form of wages. And, land receives the rewards in the form of rent. Labor receives the rewards in the form of wages. Capital receives the rewards in the form of interest. And organization receives it in the form of profit. Hence, these rewards, when are distributed together, is called as distribution. The distribution of factor rewards are nothing but called as distribution. The last one being exchange. What is exchange leading to? These 2 components, when they come in interaction with each other, that is, when producers try to satisfy the consumer's want by exchanging goods and services. So, it's nothing but simply implying to us trade, that is, exchange of goods and services between consumer and producers. The producers through this activity earn profit, the consumers satisfy their wants through this activity. Hence, These are the four major activities, economic activities, on the basis of which the whole subject of economics works, the whole economy operates, and these are the crux of the subject. Without these four elements, the subject is totally incomplete and cannot be studied. They are nothing but the foundation, and they also can be called as the subject matter of economics. So what are they? Consumption, production, distribution, and exchange. Hence, these can be totally called as the subject matter of economics, the base of economics, the foundation of economics, without which economics is an incomplete subject. Hence, these are the economic activities.